Hello, hello, hello. I don't even know if this sound is working. Hello, hello, hello. 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 Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Ooh. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, that sounds like the sound might hopefully be better. Where am I gonna put this? Right there. Wasn't able to schedule this ahead of time, and I'm on my cell phone because there were problems with the sound. And I've never live streamed on here on my cell phone before. So, all right, I'm gonna wait a few minutes before I get started. Wow, the past couple of days have been intense. All right, pen. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? Incense, coffee, soda. I will be right back. I have to grab a soda. Oh yeah, root beer. Today was a mad dash to try to get ready. I could not find anything. Not my headphones, not anything. Okay. Hello to everybody who's here. Hi, Crazy Life. Hi, VK Gaming PC. Hi, Mousa. I hope I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. Hello to everyone here. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm doing everything I can to fix the sound. I am trying. But I think I found something in our like archive of electronics, and I think this is the right thing. Robin, if you see this, let me know if this is the right thing that I need for my mic. Hamza, okay. Hello to everyone. Okay. I don't know if any of my mods here, so, and I'm not going through StreamYard, so I don't have the description up like I normally do. I'm gonna have to do that after the live stream. We do have rules here, so here are the rules. We're not gonna do any victim blaming, victim shaming, blame shifting. Blame shifting is where you shift the blame from the perpetrator to the victim, or alleged perpetrator and victim, okay? So none of that. No hate to anyone, no threats of violence or any of that. No bullying, harassment. We're gonna move with compassion, care, and always with a thought of the well-being of alleged victims. Always. I did not have my glasses on my head tonight, or today. I have them elsewhere, in the booby pocket. Okay. All right, so someone sent me a link to Mike Rinder's first video in his 7-part series pertaining to Aaron Smith-Levin and Aaron's behavior. First off, Mike Rinder has passed away, so my condolences to his family and friends. It's always hard losing someone, but cancer just seems to make it worse. I've lost several friends to cancer. So, you will never know what color. Alrighty, so Mike Rinder was a complicated person, given his history with Scientology. He seemed to try to do things that would make up for that and make amends, and that's commendable. He didn't have to do that. He could have just gone off and done his own thing. But he didn't. So that's commendable. He has passed away, so, we can't ask him questions now. Aaron Smith-Levin more and more seems to be coming to light pertaining to him and his decisions and behaviors. So, I do have notes here. Earlier today, I watched that series of videos 3 or 4 times just to get a good understanding of what Mr. Rinder was saying. Point of clarification, I'm a former victim's advocate. That was my job. And I'm also a former ex-sheriff's deputy. I'm an ex-sheriff's deputy. So in the part 4 video, there was something that really jumped out at me. Mike Rinder said that he had decided to gray rock Aaron Smith-Levin. Understandable. If the things he was saying, I'm just going to say alleged for my safety and for the safety of everyone else, okay? All right, so if you're in a situation and you're dealing with somebody who's toxic and you decide to gray rock, that might be the only way that you can basically get them to stop, and eventually they will stop looking at you all the time and targeting you, okay? And gray rock is a tool that you can use to maintain that distance. Disconnect and gray rock. But if it's a situation where it's more on the public side of things, and there is serious harm being done to people, tell everyone what's going on, like all of the backstory, the context, and the nuance that's happening, so that everyone knows. And just speak the truth, all of it, everything, put it out there. And then tell people you're gray rocking. Explain what gray rock is, okay? By the way, all of you trolls out there who are trolling me right now, you're just boosting me in the algorithm. Thanks. Thank you a lot for that, okay? Bye. I'm not even going to pay attention to any of you. That is called gray rock. I'm not going to give you the emotional response you want. All right. So tell people that, everything that pertains to that toxic person. And you have to try to keep your emotions out of it, which is easier said than done. If at all possible, provide receipts unless it's evidence that may come up in a court of law or a civil court, you know, things like that. And then tell everyone you're going to gray rock. Try to explain what gray rock is. If at all possible, have somebody who is trauma informed help you with that, to explain gray rock. It can help a lot. All right. So part of what Mike described was Aaron projecting off onto Mike's family things that might be going on in Aaron's own family. That is pure speculation, but a lot of the time there are patterns in situations like this. So telling Mike's family to run away from Mike as quickly as possible when Aaron is doing what? Just putting that there. Then there was the Brian Kent situation. There are certain kinds of evidence that people look at as just being receipts, okay? When in fact, they're not receipts. They could be evidence that would be useful in a court of law. All right, hold on. Do. All right, I think they're all muted. This is so completely different from StreamYard. Alrighty. So sharing certain kinds of evidence publicly can destroy a civil or criminal case completely, to the point that that case might not even make it through the court system, wherever, like whatever court it is in. And apparently, some of the evidence that Aaron is alleged to have shown, did just that, potentially. I have a feeling there's more backstory to this that I don't know about, so I don't want to say too much on that. I'm just putting this out there in the public. You know, showing receipts and all is great and fine and dandy until it impedes on law enforcement's ability to continue with an investigation and possibly bring a person before a judge. Don't show. There are certain kinds of evidence you should not show. And if you're not trauma informed and you don't actually know what you're doing, then you're being completely irresponsible and unprofessional. If you consider this your job, then you should have a team and you should know what you're doing if you're going to show evidence like this. That's why there are certain pieces of evidence I will not show, because that evidence pertains to criminal cases, so I can't show that on the public forums. All right. Now we get to Mike Rinder alleged that that Aaron tricked Leah Remini into sharing documents with Aaron that Mike didn't actually want Aaron to have access to. That Aaron had promised he would never share those documents with anyone. He promised Leah this, but then broke those promises and apparently has shared some or all of those documents with the public. Hold on one second, everyone. To everyone who is attempting to verbally abuse me in here, you're just showing yourself. You're not having an effect on me. And really, you're helping boost me in the algorithm. So, I just don't want anyone else to see that. So, okay. So quite often toxic people will engage in future promising. They will break promises. Easy. Like they love doing that, okay? They will engage in data mining, which is this would fall into data mining, going after that thumb drive. They will lie. They will manipulate. They will blackmail. They will do anything they can to gain access to whatever it is that they want. And from what Mike was saying, it sounds like Aaron allegedly proceeded to smear campaign Leah Remini as a preemptive if she were to say anything about what Aaron did. It sounded to me like that was what he was describing. And it sounded also to me like Mike Rinder went through the process of becoming more trauma informed, which is good. Hello, Mind My Blues. How you doing? I hope they are. I hope they are helpful to people. Okay, so sometimes abusers will do a thing called leakage. They will leak, usually a lot of the time within projection onto other people, what they themselves are doing. I'm not saying that's what was happening here with Aaron Smith Levin, but I'm saying abusers will do that. That is a thing that abusers often do, or toxic people in general can and will do. Okay, I need some coffee. This next one just kind of floored me a little bit. I was like, what? Wait, what? Hey, Robin, how you doing? I want to ask you a question real quick. Is this what you were talking about? Because I found it in our catalog of electronics, and it says it is a sound card. Like I'm on my phone right now because I was frustrated. If this is it, I just need to find the cord, like the wiring that goes with it. Dude, I need my glasses for this. Yes, use it if you need. You can upgrade later if needed. Right on, right on. I love you. Thank you. Let me see. Hold on. These headphones, man, they do not play. All right. Okay, right. We just need the right chords and we're good to go. Oh, okay. What is it with self-aggrandizement? What is it with, but I'm the bestest ever and I'm the firstest ever? It's just, I'm the only one. What? Okay. So apparently, this is interesting. I didn't know this. Apparently, Aaron was the first anti-Scientology protester to be out there in the streets protesting Scientology. Aaron was not, I repeat, not the first protester against Scientology. That is funny. Anyone else hear about the whole anonymous thing that happened back in the day? And there were protests before that too. I know because I was at many of them. What? I can't. The fuck? Man. He was the first protester. Did he actually, if anyone knows if he actually said that, please let me know. Yes, Frank Zappa talked smack about Hubbard in the 70s. Yeah, there were a lot of people doing that. But apparently, Aaron Smith Levin was the very first and is the leader. What the fuck, dude? I'm sorry, when I'm laughing and it's funny to me, I cuss. I can't help it. Was apparently the very first, and he's the leader of all of the anti-Scientology. No. What? I didn't vote for that. Did anybody else vote for that? No. No. Anonymous, Tori Magoo? Yeah, Tori Magoo. Dude, that was back. Oh God, I think I started watching her videos just after Katrina. But no, it was Aaron Smith Levin. What? I'm sorry, I find that absurd. No, sir, no. No, you are not. This has been a thing since back before Dianetics went, was it bankrupt, I do believe? There were people calling LRH out. So that's been a thing for a long time. This is not, the whole protest thing is not new. It didn't just come up when Aaron Smith Levin entered the stage. Absolutely not. That's absurd. Dude, that is, I need to be in the spotlight. I need to take all of the credit for everyone else's hard work and dedication over decades, and just make yourself the center of attention. That is, wow. I'm just gonna laugh it out for a minute because I have to. Lots of people called out Scientology as a BS cult. Yep, and Hubbard as a quack from day one. Yes, yes. Like the reporter. Oh, I forget the name of her book now. I've read it, and I forget her name now. Man, Scientology went after her hard. The shit they did to her was insane. It was bad. But no, Aaron Smith Levin, first protester ever. Oh boy. These youngins, man, they are so wacky. Shoot, I mean, in reality, you could probably count my grandfather as an early protester because he warned me and my parent. We had a thing that we called the cult talk from my grandpa. And Scientology was on that list. He was like, you will stay away from those people. They don't even know that they are caught up in something. Like, that is a cult. Stay away from that. Yeah. Okay, so one thing to consider with abusive people is that if somebody is toxic and or abusive, every gift or help they give you is going to come with strings and expectations attached. Okay? Anything they do for you, even if they say something nice to you or give you a compliment, anything like that, all right? It's always going to come with strings attached. Trying to convince people that somehow during his actual lifetime was respected as a legit part of the brainwashing by denying history. Yeah. So gifts and help are never for the benefit of the person who is receiving them. They are always for the benefit of the toxic person. That toxic person is going to expect something in return at some point. And they will also expect that they will be able to use that as a, well, I did this and that for you, so therefore you owe me X, Y, Z, whatever. And quite often those will be used against a person when and if they see toxic and or abusive behavior, then they'll turn around and try to use that during a smear campaign. And Mike Rinder specifically brought up that Aaron Smith-Levin was basically saying that he saved Mike Rinder and all of that. That's what that is. Many, I don't know if this is a national thing, but or like a well-known term, but me and my colleagues, we coined this fruit of a poisonous tree, but in a different way from a legal sense, but it could be similar. So you take the gift or the help or what have you, the compliment, whatever, and that gift is fruit, but it's poison. So be careful for charming people that bring you gifts or try to help you. Be careful. Like if I give someone something, I don't expect anything in return. But, you know, okay. Overall, after Jenna Miscavige's videos, Lindsay's videos, Mike Rinder's videos, a bunch of other people who were friends with Aaron Smith-Levin, I'm just gonna say ASL from this point on. It seems like, and this is not just me saying this, I actually, several of my colleagues went over these materials as well, just to back what I'm thinking, to get their feedback. For me, we had a Zoom call this morning. We had another one yesterday. And we all typed in our thoughts at the same time. And this is a thing that we'll do with somebody who is an accused or alleged abuser or toxic person. And what we'll do is we'll have like 2 lines, women and men. So women equal and then men equal. Because a lot of the time, toxic and or abusive people will have 2 different modes of behavior with those 2 groups of people, okay? So women equaled, this is what I wrote here on this piece of paper and also in the meeting. Women equal potential victims, even if friends. Men equal potential spotlight takers, even if friends. And oddly enough, several of my colleagues had the same vibe going on. But then too, we all watched the same videos. Now, you know, the other people who were on that meeting also were like, one was women equal take whatever you can take, whatever you can use, and men equal take and don't give without strings. Do you see what I'm saying? But we were all in that same ballpark with our synopsis. Now, here's part of what I'm also thinking. Toxic people or abusive people will purposefully muddy the water so that it's hard to see what is actually happening versus what may not even be happening. And they do that on purpose so that it's hard to figure out what the truth is. I think, and according to a lot of the materials I've read based on this subject, they do that on purpose. It's an act of self-preservation for them. And they don't care about anybody else. It's all about their own self-preservation. Covert narcissism with low self-esteem. Yes, possibly. I try not to use that term because I'm not a therapist and I haven't sat down in sessions. If I haven't, I wouldn't be the one to do the evaluations to see if a person is a covert narcissist or not, if that makes sense. Hello, SP Crusader. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing good. So, I'm not on the fence. I will always side with people who are disclosing that they have been abused. Especially when more and more and more people are coming forward. And then also we have to consider the fact that many of the people who are coming forward were in Scientology. They were abused in Scientology by Scientology and Scientologists. So they're going to be vulnerable for a while after they come out. It's much like being in a DV situation. You're going to be vulnerable. And that's why a lot of victims advocates, DV shelters, etc. will tell you, please don't get into a relationship. Wait, give yourself time to heal. Give yourself a year or 2 or 5, however long it takes for you to heal. You have time. Give yourself that time because abusers will see that you're vulnerable and take advantage. Now, I haven't had a chance to go into my comments yet on YouTube because I have been so busy, but I will get there and interact with everyone. But I did see this comment and I want to read it out from Traveling with My Dog. IMO, some abusers look for unstable people or substance abusers because they are easier to control and discredit. I would add to that people in recovery and people who don't have very much experience in relationships. So younger people, somebody who's just got divorced, or been R'd or SA'd. You have to be very careful after situations like that because toxic people will see that you're vulnerable. It's like they have radar for it. And they will purposefully go after people who have been harmed. That's why if you're just coming out of DV, or maybe it's been a year or two, and you start dating again, do not tell anyone you're dating about that past history of abuse, because toxic people will data mine. They data mine, and they'll store that in the back of their head and think, oh, well, I can do all that too. I've just, learned what they will take and how much and for how long. So don't disclose past toxic situations if you're just starting to date someone. You don't know them. You don't owe them that information. Absolutely not. Listen to your instincts. If you get the butterfly feelings in your stomach, that's actually a warning from your instincts. We have been misled with fairy tales and movies and all of that. Oh, it was love at first sight and butterflies in my stomach. That is a warning. That is your body telling you something's off. Your subconscious is picking it up, and your body's having a visceral reaction. Cut ties. Just seriously. New to the channel, oh, you're an ex. Oh, I have so many questions. I lost two very dear friends of mine to Scientology, and me and the family actually have a lot of questions, important questions we would at some point love to ask, but none of us have had a chance to. Parent joined when I was a child. Ouch. And you left 12 years ago. I hope that you are doing better. I know it takes time, because there are so many similarities to DV and what I'm seeing people express who've gotten out of Scientology. It's abuse is abuse is abuse. And you can compare and contrast group abuse and domestic abuse. I did look for an email. Happy to talk to you and answer your questions. Right on. It's easier to get a hold of me through Blue Sky. I'm over on there. There was a thing with a weird, creepy dude that we call Red Lipstick Guy. So now when I check my emails, I kind of have a panic attack a little bit. But I will check my email. Yes. Wow. I hope Leah Remini is okay. Losing a friend is always hard, but there's something about cancer that seems to make it even just that much harder. And I hope that Mike Rinder's family and friends are okay. I hope that Mike Rinder, if he knew anything about what happened to Miriam or any information pertaining to that, I hope that will get to Miriam. And I don't think that a lot of people really fully understand the reactions that survivors of CSA, the inner turmoil that they go through. To be clear, though, I did not work with children. I was not an advocate for children. I have a line. I couldn't do that. Multiple things can be true at the same time. Mike Rinder could have done a better job of working with the Miriam situation, what she needed, the support that she would have needed. Just, there's a lot to that I one, I probably don't know, and two, I want to be very, very, very respectful of Miriam. Oy, okay, I need coffee. Man, these emails on this other email is just irritating. I never heard of Blue Sky. I couldn't see an email address. I did see Facebook. I'm hardly ever on Facebook anymore. I am also on Instagram. I do go over there every once in a while. Or you can leave your email in a comment, like in the comment section of this, instead of the chat, if you catch my drift, and I can email you. When I heard about Mike, my first reaction was panic. Panic for those losing hope, like Mira. There was another thing that was said. I can't remember which video it was, but where Mike said that that Aaron was in charge of intake. Oh, shitballs. I'm gonna try not to cuss up a storm, because that's part of what I used to do when I volunteered with certain foundations. You have to be trauma informed listen, hold on. Y'all, listen. This is not against anyone at this point. If you're gonna have a foundation that's helping people get out of abusive and or destructive situations, you have to have trauma informed people working in that foundation, especially with like intake. You could have somebody who is dealing with suicidal ideation. You could have somebody who has been AR'd. So many different things can come up. There should be somebody who is trauma informed doing that and understands how to get them resources immediately. That is no, like, if you're gonna have a foundation like this, you have to have trauma informed people working in conjunction with the people who are survivors of whatever that situation is. You should have therapists, counselors, caseworkers, victims advocates, and there are different kinds of victims advocates. So you could have victims advocates who work for elderly people, people with chronic illness and disabilities, people who work with children, people who work with DV victims in particular, people who work with our victims, things like that. It's you. I hope that, personally, I think there should be multiple foundations helping people get out of Scientology, because it's a lot coming out of a toxic situation. And just automatically, it's going to be a lot. Even just contemplating it, because of the way that group is structured. God. What Mike Rinder was saying was that Aaron didn't report certain people who called in. And in one case, I'm not going to say her name. This is not intended to flame the person in question, if you know who I'm talking about, okay? Didn't report that she had called and that she was thinking of leaving, etc. And then instead engaged in basically personal conversations with her, and then eventually ended up doxing her. When you've got a group that uses every possible abuse tactic in the book and then some, and actually in some ways made up some shit, okay? Wow. So according to what Mike Rinder is saying or was saying in these videos, there was way more going on than what everyone knew about with Aaron. And the videos that I watched back when the California thing happened about why Aaron was taken off of the board and all of that, I watched, I think, 2 or 3 of them, and they were not done in a way that just presented the information without bias, without emotion. That's important for various reasons. Because if you're just coming in angry and kind of smarmy, then it looks more like a smear campaign, and that makes it more difficult for people to suss out what is actually happening. And you have to keep in mind with situations like that, abusive and or toxic people, they love to play that sympathy card. So people who are coming out and speaking out publicly about the abuse and or toxic behavior they've been dealing with will look like they're not credible. The whole point of a smear campaign is to discredit anyone who comes forward. And you can I can cite tons of examples of people who do like a preemptive smear campaign, just in case somebody decides to come out and speak publicly, which I think was what was being done with Lindsay, potentially, allegedly in Minecraft. Okay, you don't do Instagram either, right? Blue Sky, I like Blue Sky. Okay, cool. Yeah, if, I'm gonna probably do like a new email because that old one has like literal criminal evidence in it and I don't want to mess with it. So I might just make a new email. It's hard leaving, but worth it. Yes, absolutely. Like the conditions that I have heard of that are going on in Scientology are just inhumane. And that's part of why I'm doing these videos is to help educate people on abuse tactics. But then also there are people in Scientology right now. I'm sure, I would bet money that there are people in Scientology right now who want out. Where do they go to get out? Where do they go for help? And you know that all of this is going around, that's coming out about Aaron, is going to be disseminated all over in Scientology. So that will more than likely discredit the new foundation and the fact that he was on the old foundation and was not reporting when people called in and was instead having personal discussions with them and then doxed someone, who's going to want to come out? Who's going to want to go to those foundations and be like, hey, I need help? Doing more harm than good right there. If that's true, if anyone can confirm that all of that went down, please do. Or otherwise, either way, who's going to want to go to those foundations to ask for help? Who's going to feel secure and safe going to those foundations and asking for help? You have to have people doing intake who are trauma informed. That is so important. The phone number goes to Aaron. Still, in the new one. So if he has allegations of going after people who are in recovery, and vulnerable, a person who was recently divorced and vulnerable. Now people are calling for aid and they are vulnerable. How many of them are women? Dude. Damn, exactly. If I could pin your comment, I would. I don't know how to do that on here though. Scientology does that in auditing. Find out your weak points, leave, and then come after you. Fair game. Yeah. The help wasn't help. It was fishing for info. Phishing is not phishing. It's data mining. See, all of the words and the terminologies they come up with, we already have terms for it. They're data mining. Fair game is, well, that's so many things, okay? That's, I mean, you can probably sum it all up with a whole lot of Darvo, a whole lot of gaslighting. Jesus Christ. A whole lot of stalking. When we use their terminology, we give them power. So yeah, and data mining is almost always gonna be used to try to put the hooks back in that person. Well, if you don't, here's this thing that you don't want anyone to know about publicly. Hook. If you don't come back, I'll release more, right? Yeah, it's a trap. It's a hook. I think the aftermath will be okay, as Mike's post also went viral. Not ideal, but best optional for the moment. Yeah, I'm hoping and waiting to see all of this kind of suss out, work itself out. You know, it has to work out. It has to work itself out on its own time. And then I would like to see people get back on it, get back on the job of disseminating the truth to people. I would also like to add that there was mention of a certain person. I'm going to paraphrase. Bullying and harassing people who are in Scientology while protesting. That's not protesting. Back in the day, me and my friends were protesting, but we didn't have signs up. We didn't couch it in an anti-Scientology thing. Here's what we did. We set up a table and chairs, and we were in front of a business that we knew the owner. And there was what is it even called? An org, a building, one of their buildings. And we had like a potluck. And any of the Scientologists who would walk by, we'd be like, hey, are you hungry? We're like out here, and it was like a block party. It was like a block party. Hey, if you're hungry, we got drinks, and and how you doing today? What's up? And it was more of a being friendly. Because if you're bullying them, and if you're being mean to them, if you're yelling at them, if you're telling them off and all this and that, you're immediately gonna, they're gonna put their feet in the ground. You're attacking them. It's not gonna work to get them to hear what you're saying. It's not gonna work. And we just talked politely, asked them how they were doing. And when they would try to throw the Scientology at us, we're like, yeah, this is just a block party. We're not doing any, whatever. Hey, do you want some more cornbread? What you want to eat? Because many of the people in Scientology are not fed well enough. Okay, they don't have good nutritional food. So, um, okay, I'm behind a little bit on the comments. I just really wanted to say that about, how you protest. Um, hold on. I need my glasses. Oh, I can see you now. I can see your words. Awesome sauce. Okay. Exactly. That's why Nora is going so far in her long post. He needs to be voted out. I never heard the term phishing in Scientology, only after leaving. Right. Yeah, I mean, it is phishing, but in reality, it's data mining with like a serious purpose. Data mining is so destructive. Um, she's fighting so hard for her fellow Scientology escapees to see the light. She does it out of love. I truly believe that. It's not fun for her. It's rough. I was terrified of protesters when I was in. I can imagine, especially if they're like yelling at you and all of that. It's just going to make it harder for you. There's Dr. Stephen Hassan, I think is his name. He has several books out. He was sucked into the Moonies, and he talks about like how he got in and how he got out and just all of that. He's an expert. He's amazing. And then Dr. Ramani, I do believe, talks about that, like how to interact with people who are in destructive groups. Yeah. I hope to contribute to efforts to offer support and self-empowerment to those still trapped. Exactly. I believe the outside world was as bad as Scientology or as Scientology said it was. I believe Scientology was, wait, hold on. I believed the outside world was as bad as Scientology said it was. It took years after to leave. Damn. Janja Block is also a good source for cult info on how to get out and aftercare. Oh, that's a good question right there, Colorado Mountain. What sort of things could we do to support them? Just be kind and offer support without judgment. It's so delicate, but I hate them being isolated and feeling alone. Yeah. So one thing we did at that block party, it was a situation where we set it up so that it looked like we were inviting the whole neighborhood, okay? And we also put together care bags with personal hygiene items like toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant, soaps, and there were other things, feminine hygiene products, whatnot. And we had them in a box. And they were just gift bags. And if a Scientologist came in, when they would walk by, they would be in those weird uniforms. So we knew, right? And we'd be like, hey, go grab a gift bag while you're here. Go ahead. And we also handed them out to anyone who was unhoused that stopped by. So that, just saying. I'm just saying. If you come, you're protesting something that is effectively holding people hostage. So, and in that hostage situation, they're denied access to basic needs. So give them those basic needs. Well, see, I was hoping that one of my friends would walk by. That's why I was out there doing that. And we didn't make it a big thing. We didn't back then the internet wasn't the way it is now, and we didn't have smartphones. Smartphones didn't exist. So it was a very small just gathering of, I think, 12 people plus people from the neighborhood. It was, you know, my biggest fear is to give people something that will get them in trouble. Exactly. Yeah. I will have to research what items would help but not cause trouble for them. Exactly. That's why we went with the most basic, like toothbrushes, toothpaste, all of that. And we had, you know, unhoused people coming and going too, because they were grabbing plates too. It was fine. We had, I don't know how many slow cookers in the store, and we would just switch them out. So we came prepared, is what I'm saying. I protest totally differently. Yes, other protesters do the gift bags, etc. Oh, cool. Very cool. Being nice proves Scientology is wrong about the outside. Exactly. Thank you. Right there. Just, if I could pin that. Wait, right. That comment right there. Yes. No scented items, no scented soaps, etc. I don't think we had anything that was scented. I mean, except for like toothpaste. Do they make unscented toothpaste? I don't think they do. But yeah. But back then we literally had no one we could ask any questions of like what to do. I had read a few books. I don't remember what at that point, but I'd read a couple books and tried to suss out from what those books were saying, like what, you know, and we had meetings. We, you know, everyone who was doing this, I was like, you need to read, we need to read, have like a book club. Read these books and figure out, because they're so militant, because they're so controlling, what is okay and what is not okay. And I still have questions. After all this time, I still have questions. Yeah, I don't think toothpaste would be a problem. But then, I mean, you never know. They're not the most rational, you know, those people who are in control are not the most rational. With the yelling and the screaming and the threats and all of that, which we now know a certain person also does. So how is he any different? How is he any different? And who is he to say anything? Or to call anyone out? When I heard that, you know, he was he's the main protester, I was like, what the fuck? What has Tori Magoo been doing for how long? Like, what? How about Tony Ortega? How about, oh, wait a minute. Am I naming off people? Do I have to say what I'm thinking? I wonder if I could get away with putting up posters with a map to the nearest shelters, police stations, DV support, etc. No transportation and no phones equals needing a place to walk to for help. Huh. Here's another question. Would a bus give you a free ride to a shelter? Because I know in some jurisdictions they do that. I also know there are some jurisdictions where Uber and Lyft will give you, like if you like see a driver with the thing, what do you call it? The light bar that says they're a driver. If you go up to them and you're like, I need a ride to a shelter, they're supposed to give you a ride. I don't think that's like a national thing, though. I don't know. I'm just asking. That's a really good question, though, about the posters. Tori Magoo is amazing. I have been subscribed to her channel since maybe somewhere around a year after Katrina was when I saw her videos. She helped so much to educate me and my two friends' families. Like, because we had no real idea what our friends might have been living in fully until like Tori Magoo, and then the person who wrote Piece of Blue Sky and Blown for Good, and then all the rest of the books. Y'all, if you're in Scientology now, or if you got out and you wrote a book, thank you. Because you're really helping those of us who've never been in and have lost loved ones to Scientology and really don't understand it. Like, the Scientologies speak is what? And that's why they have their own language, because it's confusing for those of us who are not in. So all of y'all who have written books, I don't think y'all understand how much you've helped people who have lost loved ones to Scientology. The library is a good place, or libraries have info leaflets and numbers for help. Yeah, actually, listen, librarians, if you go to a librarian and say, hey, I need help with XYZ, I promise you they will help you, because I've seen that happen. I've had several clients who went into the nearest library and they were like, I need help. And then I'm like, next thing I know, I'm getting a call from the librarian I know in my neighborhood library who has my number, and I'm like, hey, I'm a victim's advocate. Call me. And then, yep, librarians are amazing. I love librarians. You could, hey, a thing to think about, maybe if you have a store, like a small mom and pop that hates Scientology, they might let you put up a sign of, if you're in a DV situation, if you're in need of help, word it in such a way that it is not a trigger. Do you see what I'm saying? She helped me join dots. Yep, same. John Attic wrote Piece of Blue Sky. Okay, yeah, I sometimes I forget the names of authors. That was, I might go back and read that. It was, oh my God, Blown for Good. What the, dude. What people have gone through to get away from Scientology, hiding in the trunk of a stranger's car, jumping a barbed wire fence, like, wow, when you have to go to those efforts and lengths to get out, that speaks volumes about that group. Most of the current members in Deep don't have phones. Really? Shit. Because that was one of the questions I was going to ask is, so the two families don't want to do anything that would get their loved ones into trouble or put them in harm's way within the group. But they would like to send Christmas presents, birthday presents, maybe holiday meals, care packages. Give me a second, Joe. I'm gonna make a fresh cup of coffee. I'll be right back. Sorry, y'all. Gray rock can be really hard sometimes. Okay, hold on one sec. What? Okay, so we have one of the family members who's watching the live stream and has a message. Whoosha. I know, personally, I know that the two friends will remember this. What is he building in there? All over the world, strangers talk only about the weather. To my two friends, do you remember? I remember. And your family really would like it if you would contact them. And just let them know if you're okay. No judgment. No nothing. Let them know if you need anything. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I just needed a minute. Let me see. It's scary and crazy they have a blow drill call to action to find a person who's left. Yeah, that's like when a person in a DV situation tries to get out. Wish I could hand out burner phones, but I'm sure they'd get in trouble for that. Yeah, probably. Only certain ranks can have phones, but yes, they are monitored. Living under constant supervision and monitoring does something to your whole system mentally and physically. It's no joke. Yeah, it's extremely toxic. It shouldn't be legal to treat people that way. I'm ashamed of my country for letting this go on for so long. I mean, it's worldwide. They do this all over the world. Now, there are some countries that are taking actions against that, though. So, resending packages is tricky. Mail is opened and read. It's in the contract that they have permission as long as the person is not disconnected officially. They could send a package. That is so good to know. At some point, if anyone who was in Scientology wouldn't mind doing like an interview with me where I could ask these questions, because these two families, they have so many questions. And most of it is pertaining to how they could help their loved ones. We live in an open air prison in anyway. I'm sort of, but it's not the same as what they're dealing with. I see what you're saying though, but I would send a care package with a note, love mom, for example, nothing more. Hey all, first time being here. Hey, how you doing? So it's pretty rare for me to walk away from a live stream like that. I do apologize. It's really hard being a never in. And these two people were like family for me. Like we grew up together. I do believe we met in like kindergarten. So, and we were friends right up until Scientology decided that they had to disconnect. And I don't know if they were I don't know if they were forced to disconnect from their family too, but they just did. They just stopped communicating with all of us. And we have no idea where they are, if they're okay, what's going on, like anything. I'm 51 now. They were around my age. I'm not going to say exactly how old, but that's a long time. It's a long time. We're in our late teens, early 20s when they were sucked in. So, I'm a Capricorn, so apparently I'm extremely stubborn, and I will wait decades to get my friends back. So, here we are. Yeah, it's the never-end community that will bring this down. I hope. Sometimes I feel like I am stepping on the toes of the people who were in and got out by speaking on this. I want to give people who got out space to talk about their trauma, but there's also the perspective of those of us who have lost loved ones. I would suggest reaching out to Jeff, Augustine, Nora, or Claire for advice on getting info on your friends. Right. Well, what I'm seeing in the community right now, it's like it's fracturing. And that can happen after people have traumatic, life altering experiences. You have a community come together and then it fractures. And then, you know, it's trauma responses, right? Um, and I'm very careful about not giving anyone, nobody, like my friends' names or any of that, or even like what their ages are. Um, because I don't want to get them in trouble inadvertently. But by that same token, you have two families who are living in this kind of limbo, and I've asked if one of them will come up and do an interview with me, but um, they are worried that if any of their family members do that, then will that family member end up on the RPF? When we found out about the RPF, we all went, oh, damn. We have to be very careful. The policy is handle or disconnect. You handle the person to join, or at the very least be okay with them being in, or disconnect from them, right? See, in the beginning, we knew that Scientology was destructive, but we didn't have the books and all of that at that point. So I cannot imagine that any of those people would not try and help you and your friends. They are second gens and know how to handle these infos with care and protection for the victims. Right on. I understand I've been in this community trying to spread awareness about Scientology since before the Aftermath show. This is the third time, but the worst. I've seen the community fracture. Who to trust now? Exactly. Well, I mean, I can still ask for help and advice without disclosing, personal information. So it's just, Aaron, you're not the center of the known universe, dude. And you're not the center of this either. This whole movement of the anti-Scientology movement, you're not the center of this. I would say the families of people who are in, who do not have access to their family members, they are the center. The people who are in Scientology right now and want out, they are the center. They are the point. The children who are either their parents joined, like the children are second gen or what have you, those children are the exact center of the point. It's very, very arrogant to say that Aaron is the center of anything. That is spotlight, attention seeking. It's me, 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 me. That is what Aaron is doing. And I actually saw a clip of him saying that. Someone sent me a clip, so I'm not, not making stuff up. The truth always comes out in the end, every single time. Let me see. You've never told your story. It's hard to speak out without backing from trusted people. I mean, right now in particular, you could write a book or like a memoir and self-publish and just, use a pen name or have a blog. See, being in a situation where you feel like you can't speak your truth and speak your own lived experience, that sucks. It's so painful. Just do not ask Aaron. Anyone else I would recommend for at least some advice where to reach out. Okay, right. Yeah, no, I would not. Absolutely not. I feel like I owe an apology for even being subscribed to. Like, this just proves that anyone can be fooled. Absolutely anyone can be fooled by toxic and or abusive people. Absolutely anyone. And I'm usually pretty good at spotting, you know, people who are toxic, etc. But man, sometimes they put on a really good show and they really like pull you in and get you thinking that they are, you know, there for altruistic reasons when they're there for everything but that, right? Maybe. Allegedly. In Minecraft with vampires and enders and chickens. Are there vampires in Minecraft? It's been a while since I played Minecraft, so I don't know. I'd be happy to tell you privately there are reasons why that wouldn't work. My story would out me. Okay. Right. See, that's another thing. Part of the reason I'm so careful, or I try to be so careful when talking with somebody who got out, is because Scientology uses plants. And y'all don't know me. Like, and you know, PIs and all that. Any PI, I'm just gonna say this, any PI who is working for Scientology, why don't you go work for the Pinkertons, okay? You should know exactly what I'm saying when I say that. That means you are bottom of the barrel, by the way. You okay? What's you doing? What's the matter? Did that vent offend you? Come here. Come here. Come see. Don't just chirp at me. My cat is having a dilemma. Okay. Come on. Goofus. I cannot pet your belly if you're all the way over there. This cat. There are zombies. Yeah. And zombies and enders. I just wonder if there are also, what? I just also wonder if there is, like vampires. I liked the Muppets. I am your generation. Right. Gonzo was my fave. Was Gonzo the drummer? Or am I thinking of a completely different thing? Was it Animal? Cookie Monster? Baby Muppets. Anyone remember those? Yeah. Are you gonna come here? You kind of are a Muppet, by the way. Just so you know. Here, come on. I know it fell. It's okay, I will fix it. My training staff fell and she's kind of freaked out by that now. So, no vampires in vanilla Minecraft. Ah, right on, okay. Animal was a drummer. I loved Animal. That was my jam when I was a kid. Fozzie Bear, yes. The punk rocker of the bunch, also first time chatting. Hello there. Hey, hello, how you doing? All right, so yeah, the videos from Mike Rinder were very interesting. Then at one point, he talked about Aaron having a problem with Tony Ortega. I didn't know that was a thing. Why? What? what is even happening? And that just goes to more to the possibility of not liking anyone who might take attention away, right? Um, Tony Ortega has been extremely helpful with disseminating information to never ends. From a never end perspective, his work has been very important. I don't know if there's behind the scenes stuff. I was so confused. I'm so confused. I'm like, what the? He's a reporter. He's an investigative journalist, and I think he's done a really good job of educating people. So that could be, if these allegations are true, that could be attempting to knock someone out of any position that would take attention away. Well, Tony Ortega, Tony Ortega has been in the fight for a long time. Good luck with that. I don't think that's going to work, Aaron, because Tony Ortega actually, to my knowledge, has a really good reputation. And at this point, you don't. So maybe apologize to all the people that you have hurt and offended. Maybe apologize, yes, to everyone who is in the community, and the never ends included, yes, and women who are not thrilled by the whole idea of vag slayer and all of that, and harming women. And Leah Remini, of all the people to be disrespectful to, wow, that's not intelligent in any way, shape, or form. Always identified with Gonzo because he was different and it was okay to be different. Exactly. Question everything. Yes, that's one of my mottos, actually. I want to make merch that says question everything. Read everything. Never stop learning. Because that's one thing that destructive groups and destructive people will do. They'll be like, you don't need to know about that. You know, don't question me. ASL bought subs on YouTube. I have a real time short. He's unbelievable. What? Really? I don't even know how you do that. Like, how do you even do that? And then also, why? Like, it seems to me like if you buy subs on, they're not gonna watch your videos, are they? They're not gonna like give you real engagement. And then, if I'm not mistaken, when I read the user agreement, it said something in there, if you buy subs or what have you, I forget the exact wording, but that you'll lose your whole channel. Like, you want to risk it? What? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's cheating. That's just sad. I watched that, buying subs. I saw it with my eyes. Damn. Wow, dude. Desperation. That was something we used to say a couple years ago. Desperation. When a person loses all kinds of subs and then all of a sudden they have all their subs back, you're like, desperation. Yup. If a guy identified himself as a vag slayer, I would ask where his parents were. That's so juvenile and repulsive. Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, what are you, 15? 14? 12? Like, what? Not what a woman wants. Just saying. Not that. Bast, are you okay? Oh, you got your spot? Okay, my other cat is in here now, about to lay down and go to sleep. You okay? All right. My red flags go up as soon as I hear a person expressing themselves with those words you just repeated hearing him say. Yeah. Well, I didn't hear him say that, but they're, mm, um, question anything Scientology, you'll be sent to ethics to do the doubt formula. Wait a minute, I don't think I've heard that one before. The doubt formula? Dude, wow. They really have to have a lot of things. And you probably have to pay for it too, right? The problem is every time the community is sucked up with problems, issues that are altered, importance to the abuses being perpetrated on kids, as we speak, sucks up all the oxygen, no bandwidth left for kids. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there are loads. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be that complicated. I'm just going to say it. So I survived an NDE. No religion on the face of this planet that I know of has been able to properly explain the afterlife or describe it or any of that. And what a lot of religions are saying to you is like the truth, and all this and that, whatever. No. Nope. No. So, yeah. But I could never be a cult leader because I'd be like, listen, you need to read all the books. You need to question everything. Also, self-care. Do all the self-care every single day. Maybe I should start a cult and just call it the self-care cult. Everybody, do all the self-care. Love thyself, love everybody else. Oh, God. The one thing that bugs me about ASL is he seems to have either done damage or tried to do damage to every highly visible and credible group or individual that he should be on the same side with. Yeah. It makes me wonder at this point. It makes me wonder at this point. That's really sad and disappointing. I first started having my doubts when with Aaron, with the whole Lindsay situation, and then with Nora and how he treated her. I was completely done with him. I see so clearly who he really is as the mask. Those masks can only stay up for so long. They can only stay up for so long, and then they slip, and then poof, they're gone. Yeah, slipping more and more. Yep, okay. There's a little bit of lag for me, so I first started having my doubts about Aaron. Yeah, okay. I've tried to give ASL grace, knowing his Scientology upbringing, but his daughters, he should know by now. Yeah. We're all adults. We all make our own choices, okay? We all make our own choices. And he apparently has chosen to be on the side of destruction. That's what it looks like, in my opinion. And my gut's telling me that if ASL were to flip one day and go back in, it would not surprise me. I don't know. When you think about the allegations against him right now, I don't know if he would want to go through all of the, what do they call them? Sec checks? Is that what, all of the counseling, it's not really counseling, all of the things where he would have to disclose everything, like all his crimes. So their idea of a crime is not necessarily in reality a crime. For anyone who's a never in, there's a difference. Okay. I still have some books, the ethics book, Scientology handbook, etc. If you need more info on anything. Oh, Scribed is a good resource too. It would be interesting to read. Back in the day, I read Dianetics, or it was mind-numbingly stupid, and just there was stuff in there from the Kabbalah, from Buddhism, from Confucianism, just all over the place. I was like, how can anyone read this and take it seriously? It was straight up plagiarism in some spots, from what I remember correctly, if I remember correctly. Sec check. We see. Gotta have their own language. That's the first red flag. If a group is approaching you and they actually have their own language for things, why do they need their own language, baby? Baby, why can't they just use regular English? That's a control tactic. I think he's not about ending the cult. It's about money. If the cult ends, his money stops. Ouch. That is painful. And you might be right. He would need to make amends to get back and give up the details of those out that he's communicated with, for example. And with such a gigantic platform, it really irritates me when people with just huge platforms turn out to be just so selfish and destructive toward people, because they could do so much good, but they waste their time on bullshit. I don't think they'd take him back, though. I could be wrong. They might see it as a strategic move. It would shut him up, but he is their best advocate at the moment as a saboteur. It does certainly seem that way. That to a never in, who is not part of that social group, just an outsider looking in, that's what it looks like now. Whether or not he gets angry or feels any kind of way about me saying that, he probably wouldn't even look at what I'm saying anyway, because I'm such a small channel, and he seems like the kind of person where numbers matter. Personally, I don't give a fuck. It looks like he's full of feces and he's an abuser. In my opinion, that's what it looks like. I'm not the only one who thinks that either. Aaron's beef with Tony is basically Tony was really good at getting inside information. Aaron claimed it was because Tony would out under the radar people for the sake of a story. But let's be real, so would Aaron. That's what Aaron did though, right? So that would be projection. I've read a bunch of Tony Ortega's works, and I don't think I've ever seen him out anyone. Now, I could be wrong. He could have written something somewhere else and I didn't see it, or what have you. But most investigative journalists are pretty stringent with their sources. And that could also lead to legal action against Tony Ortega if he were to out someone, like a source, that way. Yeah, but that's literally what Aaron did to someone, right? So is that projection? Also, mistakes do happen. It just, Somebody sent me a clip of where Aaron doxed a certain person. I'm not going to say her name. Everyone should know who I'm talking about. Where he doxed her, and it just seemed there was something off with his tone of voice, the look on his face. I just, I can't put my finger on it. It just seemed off. And I think, you know, when I talked with my former colleagues, they felt that way too. And they don't even like have a dog in this game. I don't know. I'm just putting that there. That's just a feeling. Idun, I am right here. I'm not over in the kitchen, and I'm not coming in the kitchen right now. You have to wait for the treat. This is what she does when she wants a treat, by the way. I don't know if you can hear her meowdling. She's gonna be sitting right below where the treats are, meowdling. I haven't seen evidence of Tony doing that. Yes, he's covering up his doxing. Wow. Yeah. My meat eye is starving. Exactly. Listen. She's either over where the treats are, or she's either, like, she might be over where the CANs are. If I say the word, I will be attacked by 2 cats. Kitty wants to file a report on not getting a treat. Well, they've already had their first CAN. Like, they get a CAN in the morning. Otherwise, all the humans will be in trouble. And then they'll get treats in just a little bit. It's never a dull moment here. I have a pup that does that, yeah. But Mom, I can be the cutest you've ever seen. Come take a peek. Exactly. Exactly. Now, if I have this door closed, she will freak out because this is her room. It's not my office, it's her room. And the chair is her bed, and so am I. So, you have a pup with a carrot addiction? They didn't eat carrots? I didn't know that. Huh. I love puppers, but I am allergic, sadly. I like puppers, though. I like large puppers because then if I'm walking my dog and somebody tries something, Cujo over here, you know, gotta shovel snow. I get it. Yeah, I'm about to jump off. It's been about an hour, and that's a long stream for me. Okay, yet again, condolences to Mike Rinder's family and friends. Also condolences to anyone who might have been harmed by Rinder, because people can be complicated, right? So, dogs love carrots. Oh, I did not know that. I will keep that in mind. Cane Corso. I've always wanted a Cane Corso. I would deal with the allergies. I would just deal. Hey, James, how you doing? I didn't even realize that was you. But see, 160 pounds, I would not be taking that dog for a walk. That dog would be taking me for a walk, and we would have to train that dog well because that dog would weigh more than I do. Like, that would be funny. Okay, oh boy. Yeah, love to those feeling the impact of loss. Cancer sucks. A Cane Corso would be worth asking a doctor about Benadryl pump. Yeah, right? Her name is Lunchbox and is a gentle giant. Lunchbox. That's a good name though. But yeah, I would want one jet black. you know, like a big furry demon. I'd have to have the dog trained, though, to protect my youngest and me. Maki doesn't really need protection, I don't think, but, you know. All right, y'all. I'm probably not going to be able to stream tonight because Maki's working a closing shift. So I am on, baby, take care of baby girl time. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? Yeah, R.I.P. Mike Rinder. Yeah, so I'm gonna do some live streams where we just talk about different terminologies, like abuse tactics and whatnot, the actual terms, more of a deep dive, so that we can just disseminate that information out there to people who are dealing with, they say ghosting, they've been ghosted. It could be ghosting. It could also be Stonewall. You know, data mining, all of that stuff. And just open a discussion and a dialogue to really help people understand the differences. And I may see if I can find like a list of Scientology's terminology and kind of translate that to what it actually really is in the real world. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's an abuse tactic, what is it really? So then you can go look it up on your own time. And we can also make videos explaining those things. What they call fair game, they put all kinds of abuse tactics under that term, fair game. And I think they did that on purpose to obfuscate. So, that would take a little bit of time. And I might actually just live stream it so y'all can see what I'm doing. But then too, so that also that people who were in and got out could chime in and and add their perspectives to it, which would be invaluable. That would be, because I've never been in. I might miss something, I might not know or not understand something. Yes, love to all who need it. Also, condolences to Leah Remini, because she was really good friends with Mike Rinder, and it's hard losing a friend who is on that level. Real hard. I get confused. I get confused too. Seriously. Okay, so remember, you have the right to say no. Your no should be respected. And people who demand to be the center of attention all the time, be careful. Be careful with that person. Gifts and help should be given without expectation. All right, y'all. If anyone has any questions or anything, especially DV related or trauma related, you can put that in the comments. If you're on the replay crew, I am happy to answer questions. And also, I apologize that I have not been able to get to my comments. The past couple of days have been really ridiculously busy for me. Okay, I have to get going. I love y'all. Have a good day.